This conference will now be recorded.
Yes, we're ready to roll.
All right, thank you very much. All right, welcome to the regular board meeting of the West Basin Municipal Water District for October 26th at 1:02. We'll call the meeting to order. We do have a quorum, and I would like to ask, is EJ on the line? Maybe you can do the Pledge of Allegiance. Is EJ online?
Yeah, AJ's on the line.
EJ, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Yes, Madam Chair. If everybody could place their hand over their heart and repeat after me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic, one nation,
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much, EJ. We will now go to public comment. Do we have anyone from the public wishing to speak?
Yes, we do, President Gray. We have on the line Susan Madison, the CEO of Allegra Consulting. They're the company who's done wonderful work for us, helping us implement the Change and Save Disadvantaged Communities program. And she'd asked to say a few words under public comment. Suzanne, there you are.
Thank you. Thank you. Hi. Good afternoon. I'm Suzanne Madison, CEO of Allegra Consulting. First of all, I'd like to thank West Basin board members for allowing Allegra to be a part of the West Basin's Change and Save communications team. I'd like to also congratulate board member and chairwoman Gloria Gray for being reelected to a second term on the Metropolitan Water District Board. We are so very proud of your accomplishments. So kudos to you. Allegra had the opportunity to work with West Basin's Gus Meza, Matt Bay, Jennifer Vasquez, and the South Bay Environmental Services team. As a team, we achieved our goals and look forward to developing the marketing program to educate and encourage more DAC area residents to take advantage of the $500 rebate for a high efficiency washer. Lastly, we're excited to be a part of the West Basin's team that recently received the prestigious Hermes Gold Award for Best Integrated Marketing Campaign. This award is extremely difficult for a public sector agency to win due to the nature of the competition and submissions. It's definitely something to be extremely proud of. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Suzanne. Thank you very much for the congratulatory message. Thank you for your presentation on it this morning. Patrick, is there anyone else wishing to speak?
No, President Gray, not that I'm aware of.
All right. Then we will go to the next item. Presentations. Are there any presentations, Patrick?
There are no presentations today, President Gray.
Items too late to be agendized?
No, we have none too late to be agendized.
Okay, we'll go to the consent calendar. We have items 7A through 7F. Are there any items to be pulled by board members? I'll start with Director Kwan. Any item to be pulled, Director? Can't hear you, Carol.
Sorry, no.
All right. Director Williams?
No, thank you. I'd like to move.
Oh, let me go to Director Deere. Any item to be pulled?
No, I'll move approval of the consent calendar.
All right.
I'll second that.
Okay. Director Houston?
No, thank you.
Okay, I had a motion to approve by Director Deere, and I think a second by Director Williams. All right, any discussion on any item? All right, hearing none, let's vote. Director Kwan, how do you vote?
Yes.
Director Williams?
Yes.
Director Deere?
Yes.
Director Houston?
Yes.
Director Gray, yes. Okay, then we will move to item, thank you, and we'll go to the action item 8, 8A for approval of the minutes. Patrick?
Yes. Thanks again, President Gray. Good afternoon to members of the board, members of the public, and staff. Item 8A on the action calendar is for the approval of the minutes and recommending that the board approve the minutes for September 8th, 2020, special board meeting minutes, September 17th, 2020, special board meeting minutes, September 28th, 2020, regular board meeting minutes.
Is there a motion for approval for item 8A?
I'll move that, Madam Chair.
Right, it's been moved. Is there a second, board members?
Second by Houston.
Okay, are there any questions? Please speak up, board members, or any additions or changes. All right, hearing none, I will call for the vote. Director Kwan? Can you hear me? Director Kwan?
Yes.
Director Williams?
Yes.
Director Deere?
Yes.
Director Houston?
Yes.
Director Gray, yes. All right, we will go to item 8B. Patrick?
Thank you again, President Gray. So item 8B stemmed from the discussion to the Ethics Committee back on October 5th, 2020, which resulted in recommendation for an amendment to the Code of Conduct. So Steve is here. Steve O'Neill, our General Counsel, prepared a resolution. Steve, we'll hand this over to you.
Sure. Can everybody hear me okay?
Loud and clear.
Yes.
At the, I believe it was October 5 Ethics Committee, there was a discussion concerning some of the language in the Code of Conduct as it pertained to the conduct of employees and directors. As you know, the Code of Conduct resides in our administrative code and is very specific on certain items about how directors receive compensation for attendance at meetings, reimbursement for travel, engagement in political activity as well. And we have in the beginning of the Code of Conduct, right at the front, we had two kind of prefatory paragraphs concerning the expectations of conduct of district directors and employees. And based upon the discussion we had at the October 5th Ethics Committee, there was I was asked to recommend some language that would directly address how employees and directors are to interact with one another. That third paragraph that you see on the staff report is the language that was suggested and approved by the committee. And it states that, quote, in addition to the standards set forth above, all employees and directors are expected to treat district directors, employees, and third parties with respect, dignity, and courtesy. Rude behavior, outbursts, and discourteousness will not be tolerated and will be considered conduct unbecoming a district representative. So that's that one paragraph addition to the Code of Conduct, and the Ethics Committee recommends amending the Code of Conduct accordingly. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
Yes, I'd like to move it. I'd like to move the recommendation.
Madam Chair,
Yes, let me get a second on the motion, then we can discuss it. Director Williams?
I'll second that.
Okay, discussion. Director Williams, did you have discussion?
No, I'm not at this time. I think we're moving in the right direction. Thank you.
Any discussion on this item? Hearing none, I will call for the vote. I'll start with Director Houston.
Yes.
Director Deere.
Yes.
Director Williams.
Yes.
Director Kwan.
Yes.
And Director Gray, yes. So the item passes unanimously. Thank you. Item 8C. Patrick?
Yes, President Gray. So item 8C on the action calendar. This pertains to two sponsorship recommendations following discussion. One went through committee without recommendation, and the second one, that was from Director Gray, and the second one, actually the first one listed here was from Director Houston, which arrived after the committee meeting and is coming straight to the board for consideration. Before we enter into the discussion on this, there are some unusual circumstances due to the pandemic and the virtual nature of some of these requests. Our language, generally speaking, is written for actual live events. So I would ask Steve to just speak. He's provided some language and some background here. So Steve, if you could speak to this situation that we're in and what's before the board today for discussion and vote.
Sure, thanks, Pat. And,
Steve, before you speak, I want to clarify. Patrick, which item came through committee? Which one or two? With the recommendation?
Yeah, item number 2 came through committee without a recommendation.
Without a recommendation. Okay.
Right.
Got it. All right. Thank you. Steve, please.
sure, thanks, Pat. As you know, the code of conduct addresses the district's outreach activities, and it identifies really 2 types of activities: the presentations and activities that the district itself sponsors, as well as other outside third parties who present opportunities for the district to share information about the district's conservation programs, essentially about the district and its programs. And as you may recall, we've crafted some parameters for these types of events, including an opportunity for speaking engagement, an advertisement, or an opportunity at a booth, or to have a booth present to distribute district materials. And when these criteria were developed, they all contemplated that there would be a physical event with a physical presence. I think it's safe to say that when we had adopted these measures, I believe it was 2014 or 2015, no one anticipated there'd be a pandemic and that there'd be a lot of virtual events. And so we're in a bit of a quandary with some of these outreach activities, because as you may recall, there are 2 limitations on events when there are elections pending. And essentially, directors are prohibited from requesting participation in events in a district division that is subject to an election. And we have a situation where, at least as to the second request, the Hawthorne Chamber of Commerce, that appears to be a physical event, not a virtual event, that is in a division that is subject to an election. The second part of that restriction is time-based, in that we've created a blackout period that prevents these types of activities occurring within a division that is subject to an election, beginning on the last date for filing up until the date of certification of the election results. Well, we're also wrestling with the issue of that blackout period. We've contacted the registrar of voters to determine when the results of this election is expected to be certified. And given the unique nature, evidently, of this election, with large number of voters expected, they were not able to provide us an expected certification date. We've done some research in the past, and going back beginning in 2012, and that certification period ended roughly a month after the election. In 2012, the election was on November 6th. Certification was December 4. On November 6, 2014, that election was certified December 2nd, and similar dates for 2016 and 2018. So At the best case scenario, we can expect that the certification results for 2020, in the best case, would be sometime around December 4th or December 6th. So with that background, I think I'd like to address each of these issues individually. For the Hawthorne Chamber of Commerce Thanksgiving event, that is scheduled to take place on November 24th, which is likely to be within the blackout period. It is also listed as having a physical location. I think that's going to be the location where the event will take place and the giveaway will be. While it does meet the criteria for an opportunity, a speaking opportunity, and I believe they also check the box for an advertisement for promoting the district's programs. In my view, it is prohibited by the limitations set forth in the administrative code because it is likely to be in the blackout period. I can't say that with certainty, but that it is within the blackout, that it will be within the blackout period, but all indications based upon the data we collected from the prior 4 elections and the indication we've gotten from the registrar office strongly suggest that the certification date will come sometime after this event, meaning this event would be in the blackout period. And I'll stop there because I know I just threw a lot at you, but that's my conclusion on the Hawthorne Chamber of Commerce event.
Steve, can you speak to the other event, the other request?
Yes. Yes, on the Wiseburn education event, it is not in a division that is up for election, is my understanding. This is in Director Houston's service area, even though it has a Hawthorne event, and it is a virtual event. It was originally planned as, I guess they have a 5K or a 10K run as part of this activity, but with the COVID, they've turned this into a virtual event over a period of time, Thanksgiving week, where evidently the people will run and then have turn in their times or attest to their completion of the race or something to that effect. And this is now a virtual event, and the one issue is, and I don't know if staff has been able to resolve this yet, but there will be a banner and logo in the city of Hawthorne for this event, which I believe is in Director Deere's area, which is, again, a division that is up for election. And staff just alerted me that this it appears to be in Director Deere's division. But again, it's a virtual event with a banner bearing the district's logo, which will be hanging at a middle school in the elected division. So again, it doesn't fit neatly into our expectations of these types of outreach events. And on this one, I really I have to ask the board to have a discussion about whether the fact that this event constitutes, the type of event that our policy is intended to restrict. Again, and just to step back, the overarching principle behind these policies is to prevent, of course, district funds from being used for any kind of individual political purpose. I think you all know that. So on this one, I'd really appreciate a discussion from the board on whether the fact that, because it is a virtual event, but we have this one issue with this banner being displayed in the middle school.
That ends your report on both items.
Yes, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Board, I suggest we take C1 individually. Let's take item C1, and we can have a discussion based on the report. So is there a motion to approve C1 and a second, and then we can go into discussion? Director Kwan, see you leaning forward.
I will. I move it. I move it for discussion.
Second on the item for discussion. I'll second the item for discussion. All right, let's have a discussion based on the report from Steve. Director Houston, this is your item, so would you like to start the discussion on it based on what you've heard?
Sure. Hi, everybody. I just want to let you know that this did come in late last week. It was already after our committee meeting that I received it from the folks over in the Wiseburn School District. We have supported them in the past in different ways with their Rock Around the Block and some other events they do. This is the Wiseburn Education Foundation. And when I put it forward, I really didn't expect any quandaries, although Steve and I did chat about it, because the borders in the Wiseburn area are really, a little confusing, but that is that section. It's Wiseburn and Del Air, the unincorporated section between El Segundo and Hawthorne. And I guess I know what they're doing. Number one is they are doing a virtual event. So somehow you can participate virtually with this outreach or this 5K or whatever. And there's going to be some tote bags, which apparently we can put our materials and, maybe some tchotchkes in. They're going to have our logo on t-shirts, so that's great. And then also they are going to have some sort of a banner that is going to have the logos of everybody who is a sponsor. And they could potentially let us put our own banner over there as well, which we've done in the past. But the trick here, and unbeknownst to me, is the school they happen to be, I guess, where you'll probably pick up your tote bag. It happens to literally be on the street side where the deer has, because it's Holly Glen, even though the majority of that school district is actually in my territory. So Steve and I chatted about it. We said, okay, well, let's bring it to the board anyways. It's a very difficult time, as you all know, and the events that were earlier planned got canceled. So the funds go to a good cause. I hope we can support it. I certainly understand any issues people might have with the location of the physical school, but this is not an event that's going to be at that school. And again, it's a very bizarre line that we have within our two jurisdictions. So I would only ask that my board consider supporting it for the sake of the kids. And, other than that, that's about all I know. So thank you.
Other comments, board members? Steve, I have a question. Director Williams, go ahead.
I think it's a great, effort supporting the kids. That's always a good thing to do, and we do that. But I just looking at the optics and our code. I'm not real comfortable with supporting it because there is an election going on in that not in Division 4, but it is going on in Division 5, and they're so close that average voter won't be able to tell the difference and wouldn't really care. So I would, I can't support it, but I wish you well. Thank you.
Would you like to comment? Your district's right next to it.
Who's this?
Director Deere.
Oh, sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Oh, sorry. Director Deere, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear. We can hear.
Okay. I want to vote for this board. We're only talking about $500. It's not a big deal. And I think we should support it.
Director Kwan? Director Kwan, can you hear me?
Yes, I could. Yeah, I guess I would always like to support students, especially in this pandemic, people are bored to death. So I think the Wiseburn Education Foundation, they actually come a great area where they have the office. Is it in El Segundo and unincorporated area of Hawthorne? Is that what that is? Director Houston?
Yes.
Here.
Yes. Yeah. As a matter of fact, the Del Aire Wiseburn area has 3 different zip codes. One's an Inglewood zip code, one's a Hawthorne zip code, and I actually don't remember the other one. It's not an El Segundo zip code. So they're kind of in a void. But yes, to answer your question, they have properties in different parts. You are correct.
Yeah, I actually I could support this. Thank you.
Right. Thank you. Steve has opined that it could meet our standards in terms of support. My only question has to do with the banner. Steve, are you suggesting the banner not be a part of the request, possibly supporting the request? Steve?
No, I don't think the organizers of the event are doing the banner, not West Basin. So I don't know that we have any control over that. My quandary here is that
Steve, it has to do with the placement, right? You hear me?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
I thought it had to do with the placement of the banner. No?
Yeah, my understanding is the banner will, and I could be, but my understanding is the banner will be displayed in a division that's subject to an election. Then the issue becomes, is that sufficient activity to warrant the event being considered to occur within that division? Because it is a virtual event. And this is, I guess, would be considered an advertisement for that event. Is the hanging of the banner, does that constitute an event occurring within the division? That's the question I was hoping to, to get some guidance on from the board. Because if the board determines that that banner constitutes the event occurring, then I would opine that it should not be approved because it would be in a division, within a district division that's subject to an election and clearly would be within the blackout period. If it's the board's determination that this is merely an advertisement for an event and does not constitute the event itself, then it would not be considered banned by the admin code.
Well, I suggest we go ahead and approve the item. I mean, I think you should opine on whether it's an advertisement or the other. But that's why I was asking. I think that should be your opinion on it, but I think we should go ahead and approve the
Well,
item.
if you're interested in my opinion, my view is it's more likely an advertisement than the event itself. If there was no pandemic, there would be this 5K with a physical, this turkey trot run with a physical location, and then we'd know where it is and where that would take place. But as I look at the banner, I consider that to be more of an advertisement than the event itself.
Okay. All right, good. All right. No further discussion. Let's take a vote on it. Director Houston? Thank you, Steve. Director Houston?
Sure, thank you. I vote yes, and thank you, colleagues.
Director Deere?
Yes.
Williams? Can you hear me? I'll say Gray, yes. Can anybody else, can Director Quan hear me and Director Williams?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a yes.
I can hear you, Madam Chair. Just to be clear, I'm not voting about the $500 expenditure. So I am abstaining on this item. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And then Director Quan?
It's a yes.
Or yes, one abstention. All right, the motion passes. We'll go to item 6.2. Since that's my request, and I think, Steve, you're applying that it does not meet the code or the standard right now because of the election, correct?
That's correct, Madam Chair.
All right, so can I withdraw that request? Can I just do it that way?
Yes, you may. I mean, if that's, you're the bringer of that motion, so you can, not motion, but you're the bringer of that item, you can withdraw that request.
If you opine that you don't think you think it would be within the blackout period based on your opinion, then I will withdraw the request.
And the record will so reflect that.
Thank you. All right, we will go, well, before we go to information, I did get a request from Craig Caldwell to speak on one of the items that we approved under the consent. And I believe, Steve, I can have him speak now. Is that correct, Steve?
Yes, as the chair, Madam Chair, you can control the contents of the agenda. Evidently, my understanding is he had some technical problems with communicating with the board at the time.
All right, Craig, are you there now? Craig?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Would you like to speak on one of the items that got approved under consent?
Yes, I would like to address item 7F, which is the Culver City project. And
Okay.
Are we at that point? Is it appropriate?
Yes, please speak. Please speak.
Okay, yes, I just wanted to say, I meant to say this during the water policy and or the previous committee meeting when this was addressed, and I had technical difficulties, but I think this is a wonderful project, and I admire both West Basin Board, MWD, and the city of Culver City for pursuing this type of project. It's exactly the kind of thing that I'm very much in favor of, and it's also is in the spirit of things that Measure W, the stormwater capture program that I'm on the South Santa Monica Bay Watershed Steering Committee, as is E.J. Caldwell. But this is a wonderful collaborative project, and I strongly encourage the board, and I hope it is approved. And I hope that MWD will approve it and it will go forward with the city of Culver City. It's a great cooperative kind of project that I hope we can see more of by West Basin. Thank you for allowing me to comment today.
All right, thank you, Craig, for your comments today, and thank you for being here. Was there anyone else who had technical difficulty from the public who would like to speak? Patrick,
No.
did you see anyone else?
No, just Craig. And the technical difficulties were from the committee meeting. And so this is a follow-up.
All right, thank you very much. Then we will go on, board members, to information calendar. Any information calendar, Patrick?
This is Houston. I'll move the consent calendar.
Oh, we already we already voted on the consent calendar, right?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Director Houston, though.
Okay,
We're on
great.
non-information calendar. That's okay. Item 10, receive and file. We have a number of items. Is there anything on the receive and file calendar that you agenda that you'd like to have discussion on, board members? Director Quan, anyone? Any item? No?
I will move to receive and file.
And I'll second that. This is Houston.
All right. A discussion. Is there anyone board members would like to hear further discussion on? Receive and file. Hearing none, then let's vote. Director Quan? Yes.
Yes.
Director Williams? Director Williams? Okay,
I'm sorry, Madam Chair, I had to step away. So I'm behind. So
all right,
I'm
we're on item
not
10.
voting.
All right,
What is it?
We're on item 10, receive and file. We just voted to receive and file these items. Item 10, receive and file.
Oh, real, I would, is that for tuition reimbursement for staff?
Item 10 says, did you want to pull any of these items for discussion? Otherwise, no one pulled any item. We're just.
No, thank you, Madam Chair, for bringing me up to speed. I have no desire to pull any item.
Okay, do you vote to receive and file them?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Director Deere?
Yes.
Director Houston?
Yes.
Director Gray, yes. Okay, motion passes to receive and file item 10. Item 11, General Manager's Activities Report. Mr. Shields, please.
Thank you, President Gray. I just have a few items to cover. Just one thing that's affecting some of our employees. Today in the city of Irvine, there's a pretty large fire down there, and it's burning about 20,000 acres, and we had about 2,000 acres, I'm sorry, and 60,000 residents have been evacuated. I know Mark had to return home today. He's fairly close to that location, and we have some other staff that live in the general area. I just want to apprise the board of that. And several homes have burned, and the 241 and the 133 freeways down there are both closed. As far as, and we wish everybody luck, and hopefully they stay safe and healthy. The air quality, of course, is really bad down there right now. Back on October 5th and through October 9th, we had the WEF virtual conference where President Gray spoke. I also presented virtually, and we were also got our official award for the utility of the future for recycled water, which for West Basin at that event. I was announced at that event. I attended the member agency managers meeting, general managers meeting on Friday, October 16th. The main topic, of course, still is the integrated resources plan. That's the main topic of discussion. I attended the CalDSL executive committee meeting on Monday, October 19th. As it relates to personnel, I, as you know, tried to do one-on-one meetings at least once a year with all of the staff. I did 26 one-on-one meetings with personnel in the month of October. Main topics of discussion, how they're doing under the pandemic and how teleworking is working out for them, and getting their ideas on how we continue in this mode. As far also on personnel for the unconscious bias training and the DEI training, we've hired a company called American Leadership Forum out of Sacramento, led by Dr. Snowden. Great work by Michelle Green and Elisa on that. They had a kickoff meeting with staff back on October 1st with training sessions scheduled for November 5th and November 30th. The third session with the board members, those dates will be yet to be determined, and staff will be getting back to the board on that when we're ready to go with the training for the board. We heard earlier from about the Hermes Creative Award from our speaker that we're very glad to receive for the Change and Save program. And each year, the competition judges evaluate the creative industry's best publications, branding, collateral, and websites, all of that. You heard our staff work closely with Allegra to make that happen. Over in the public information and education arena, we did the final closeout summary of the water industry careers and guest panel program that culminated on Thursday, I believe, October 15th. We had a number of panel attendees there, running up to 97, 21 participating schools, 1 elementary, 10 high schools, 6 community colleges, and 4 four-year colleges. The program goal was to engage 100 members of the public, which was met after providing a supplemental presentation to an additional 29 Lusinger High School students. A couple of quick reminders. We have the Met Caucus meeting on Wednesday, November 4th. Next week, and the PI committee was moved from Monday to November 16th at 11 a.m. It was previously scheduled for November 2nd, tentatively scheduled for November 2nd. And also for November, we have three holidays. As you know, Veterans Day is on Wednesday, November the 11th, with Thanksgiving Thursday and Friday, November 26th and 27th. That concludes my report. President Gray, you're on mute, I think.
Oh, thank you. Are there any questions of the general manager? Hearing none, then we will go to the general counsel, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Brief report. You will have a summary of services in your inboxes this afternoon. We've had a little trouble getting them out today. Our power has gone off and on 3 times already today with the winds out here. We've had some technical issues, but that should be coming out shortly. We also have a closed session today, Madam Chair, as described in item 14, pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9, one item of existing litigation, LA Waterkeeper versus West Basin, and 2 items of potential litigation. That concludes my general counsel's report.
Counsel? I didn't hear any board members speaking up, but Steve, this may not be where I could have, where I should bring this up. I probably should have brought it up when we were discussing sponsorships, but I wanted to kind of bring up the subject, or maybe looking at our code as it relates to virtual sponsorship, because things are different right now, and I don't know how long it may be. So maybe the board can have a discussion about that. If we should look at our code. Code. Can you hear me?
Yes, I think that would be a good idea. And I think what we've also identified through this exercise, Madam Chair, is perhaps we need a firmer dates for the blackout period. By using the certification date, which is a date which evidently varies election year to election year, we may want to come up with another date that's a hard date and not a date that's subject to someone else's discretion.
Well, and I'd like to hear from board members, what do they think about this approach? But General Manager Shields, maybe you and our attorney our counsel can work together and review our policies based on some of the things that are happening now with the virtual sponsorships, and come back with some information to which committee would that be under? Is that PI, or what is that under, Steve, or administrative code? Or what committee would
I guess it would be Finance and Administration, because it would be amending the administrative code.
Okay. All right, board members, what do you think about that approach?
I agree with it.
You agree, Don? Okay. Dr. Kwan? Can you hear me?
Yes, I could. It's fine.
Okay. Williams?
Yes, I'm good with that.
Houston?
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you.
Okay, so Patrick and Steve, if you guys could work together on that and bring it back to finance.
Yes, Madam Chair, we'll follow up.
All right, and Patrick, what new day was that of the PI committee that you mentioned?
The PI committee went from, just a second here, from the 2nd, and now is on the 16th of November. So from Monday, November 2nd, now it's on Monday, November 16th. We can't hear you?
Time. Time.
The time of the meeting on the 16th is 11 a.m.
our best wishes to any of our staff and anyone affected by the fires. So,
Thank you.
all right, so we will go to AB 1, 2, 3, 4 reporting, please.
Ms. Carol,
Sure.
I submitted my earlier written.
Okay. Anyone that has not submitted their written report who would like to report now? I think I saw most of our reports, but is there anyone who would like to
Sure.
do that? Director Houston?
Yes, this is Director Houston. Yes, just a couple items. On October 6th, I did attend the WEFTEC virtual conference. I attended other days, but the one I put in on my form was the 6th. I want to say thank you to staff for arranging that. And there's a lot of really great programming on the WEFTEC conference. I enjoyed that, and I did catch the president speaking. So great job, Director President Gray. And then also on October 9th, I attended the Southern California Water Coalition board meeting. We're really ramping, well, we're closing down the end of this year and ramping up for next year. So I think the Water Coalition is going to have some exciting work coming forward next year. One of the things, of course, we're focused on is the water energy nexus. So I'm anxious to see what we come up with through the Water Coalition, and I actually am a co-chair of that task force. So we hope to have some good programming next year. And lastly, on the 13th of October, I did attend virtually the Metropolitan Water District Board meeting for the month of October. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else, board members, on reporting? All right. I don't hear any comments, any requests, so so we will convene. Let me ask board members, do you want to do director's comments before closed session? Or do you want to wait until after closed session? Director Deere?
I have no comments.
Director Houston?
I'll just say really fast, since really quick, I'm really sad to hear of anybody affected of the fires down in Orange County, Patrick, and any of our staff. I don't want to hear anybody, losing houses or anything like that. So, best wishes. And separately, and Steve already talked about it. So yeah, I'm hearing reports of Malibu and Topanga having power outages, and some different fires are erupting up there. So, my heart is with all my constituents in that area too, and we'll all be monitoring this. So thank you.
Okay. Director Williams?
Oh, I'd just like to say that my thoughts and prayers are with all those who are in harm's way, and hope that things work out well for them and their families. And that's all I have to say today. Thank you.
Director Kwan?
Yes, same here. Yes, I'm here. Thank you. Thank you, President Gray. Yeah, I feel for those people that actually was affected by the fire. And actually this morning, I got a few call or text message from, some friends that actually need to evacuate from Irvine. My God, the fire actually moved really fast. But, I hope all went, you quiet down. Hopefully they're okay. That's all. Thank you. And thank you, staff, for all the work and the report, like always. We really appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. I want to echo what my colleagues have said regarding the fires. Best wishes to everyone. I know it's devastating to be involved in any kind of fires or any kind of natural disasters. So, again, our hearts and our prayers and good wishes go out to anyone that's affected, staff and anyone out there. Also, again, Director Kwan alluded, she mentioned the staff, and staff, again, we thank you for the work that you do. You continue to make sure that this organization runs efficiently, effectively. So thank you for your work that you do. And thank you to the public, whoever was on the phone from the public. I know you were on the phone, Greg, so thank you for your interest and your dedication to get involved in West Basin. So with that, we will go into closed session. Steve, did you want to say anything before we go in closed session? Steve? Patrick,
I believe everyone should have closed session call-in info from delivered to their inboxes by Julie this morning.
Patrick, you got anything?
Yeah, I'll set up, I'm going to move into the other room. I'll set up the call right now.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Patrick, can you hear me?
Yeah, President, Gray, I can hear you.
You can hear me. Okay.
Okay, I'm back.
Oh, he is
Director Williams, I'm back.
in. Let's see if any other, we need one more board member.
Well, I think Steve can report out regardless of the number of board members. Steve? He's not there.
He's on that. He's not on.
Wait a minute or so.
Wait for Steve. Carol's on. Yeah. Carol, Steve. Steve, are you there? Steve?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Yes. We have enough board members on. Can you report out, please?
Sure. The board met in closed session pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9 to discuss one item of existing litigation, Waterkeeper versus West Basin. The board received an update from special counsel concerning that matter. No formal action was taken. The board met also pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9 to discuss two items of potential litigation. The board had a discussion concerning both matters. No formal action was taken. That concludes my closed session report.
All right. We had closed session. We already had director's comments. Any future agenda items, board members? No future agenda items. Thank you, everybody, for being on the
Thank
call.
you.
Thank you so much. All right, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.